Today we've been blessed again by getting another brother as a guest to come and visit our school. This is Moulana Naeem from Bolton, and inshallah he's going to come and give you hopefully some words of advice and some guidance, and also upon his journey as well, inshallah. So please, any questions, leave them to the very end if there are any. Listen attentively, inshallah, and give him all the respect that he deserves, inshallah. Okay? Let me just set this mic up for you because we've got. Is that okay?
Nice one.
Switch this off first.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, your Ustaz has shared that I'm from Bolton. My name is Naeem Ismail, and I've never come here before, so it's an honor. Jazakallah for inviting me. You know, it's nice, mashallah, to see these institutions running so nicely, mashallah. Alhamdulillah, Allah bless you all, Allah bless your lives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. It's so much more, inshallah. So, I was thinking how can I engage and how can I start the program, how am I gonna, because I'm not usually a talker, to be honest. I really just sit down, whatever I'm supposed to pray, I pray, and then I jet. That's the standard, the standard way that I kind of operate. But today this is a little bit new for me, so kind of take it easy. Yeah, so you're like my first crowd that I'm gonna be conversing with. Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning. So I lived in South Africa for a while. So I was from '93 till about 2003. I was in Africa. So that chunk of my childhood was spent over there. Then I came to England with my family, of course. And then from there, I started madrasa, started school, having the life of England, having the life of UK. And I wasn't much engaged in sort of nasheeds and that kind of stuff at that time still. I was like, we had the same beaker, the mountains of Makkah and the rest of it. Then we had Dawood Walsby, yeah. We had Cat Stevens, what's his name now? Yusuf Islam. Then, so we had his nazms, those kind of kept us going. Then I came to England, and then what happened was there was a program in our Zakaria Masjid. And these brothers from South Africa, so when I heard that there's these brothers coming from South Africa, 3 brothers, they were blind. So their masjid was the Nurul Islam or something like that, their madrasa was called. Something like that. I used to teach blind students how to pray Quran, how to become ulama, and kind of engage them with Islam and Deen. And they came from South Africa to the mosque and they started praying. And I thought, wow, this is wow. 13-year-old blog, they're listening. Oh man, this is mashallah. So then what I do is I go home at first. It's not like today where you go on YouTube and Spotify and all that stuff, and next thing you know you find the lyrics straight away. No man, I took a cassette, boom, 2 quid, 3 quid, 4 weeks collected. Take the money, buy the cassette, and go home, and then I put it in to the player. It wasn't like majorly long time. It was like what, 2004, 2000, something like that. Ustaz Riaz, he'll probably know as well. It's around that time, 2003, 2004. And we bought the cassette, put it in, and I started listening to the nasheed that he prayed. So they prayed a few of them. So I'll give you a sample of all these nazms that I prayed or I heard along the line. So one of them was, join if you know. حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله صل وسلم يا الله على محمد رسول الله حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله صل وسلم يا الله على محمد رسول الله إنا آمنا بالله صدقنا برسول الله نرجو الجنة ندخلها يوم الحشر إن شاء الله. So this was one nazm that came along, and that when he played it, that was the first nazm he played. And when he played it, I'm like, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh man, this is wow. Then what happened was the other brother, I think he was from Malaysia, he prayed, and then he prayed this nazm, and now this is the nazm that everything started for me. I listened to it and I loved it. And then that's when, after I prayed that, that's when Zakaria Mosque was opening. And Moulana Rashid called me to do the first, actually I realized from your work, I realized that was the first ever iftitah, first ever opening of a masjid that I did in my life. And that was in Zakaria Mosque. And that was with this nazm. And it was loads of people, so I got very lucky. And the nazm was, الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجا من وفرته الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجا من وفرته الله 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 together Allah Allah, Allah. I'm selfish. I want the reward. So if you pray, then I get the reward. I'm selfish. Allah, 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 Allah. الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجا من وفرته الله, Allah, Allah, Allah. Allah, Allah. فاق الرسل فضلا وأولى أهدى السبل لدلالته فاق الرسل فضلا وأولى أهدى السبل لدلالته الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجا من وفرته الله 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 Allah, 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 Allah. So this was the stepping stone on me starting nazms, started developing more. I started listening to different nasheeds. We had loads of different ones at the time, and then another nazm came up, and that's when I started playing Urdu. And the Urdu nazm was this Moulana he came to Zakaria, same thing. I think Zakaria Mosque has always been part and parcel of the start. And he sat and he started talking, and then he just started playing this nazm. And my dad, after this, you see, my dad played a big part with this, because my dad was, he can't hold a note to save his life. Yeah, if someone came to him and said, sing a note, or your son will leave, he'll be like, he won't be, no one will survive. Yeah, but still he tried to make himself my vocal coach, which is quite funny, to be honest when I think about it. Yeah, but he was part of it, mashallah. He took me around quite a lot. I used to get all these programs and this, can you come to this program, Brad? Where he used to take me. There was one program I went to, I'll mention that as we go on. There's quite a lot I've seen. So anyway, he came to me, he goes, Naeem, try this one. Try, I go, no, this will do, man. No, try it, come on, let's. And I thought, okay. Now in the beginning, when I started praying that nazm in Urdu, the pronunciation of the words were quite funky. They weren't correct. I can't, so it's like safar hai or qabar hai. I used to, the pronunciations weren't right. But as I went on, alhamdulillah, if you practice, and you give an interest in something, then inshallah you get better. You know, our Ustad used to tell us there's a few things that when you put and you implement them in your life, then inshallah there's more barakah. One of them is like what I'm talking about here now is, for example, passion, right? To show interest. If you're interested in something, yeah, then you develop that interest as well. Like, what is it that's so amazing about this? What is it? And you try and discover it, then you get better at it. You learn the ins and outs about it. Like, for example, a mechanic. There's one mechanic that we've got in Double Hill. It's Derby Motors. And he's quite funny, but it's like he's got an interest. He's passionate about it. So when you turn the car on, and if the noise is like cha-cha-cha-cha, you go, oh, this is not the starter motor, it's the polyper, it's this. So he's passionate about it, and because he studied it so much, he'll have a whole different kind of character about it. But what I'm saying is, if you show interest, and if you show muhabbat for something, then inshallah it opens up even more. So that's one of them. We'll crack on to more. So the other Urdu was दुनिया के ए मुसाफिर मंजिल तेरी कब्र है तय कर रहा है जो तू दो दिन का ये सफर है दुनिया बनी है जब से लाखों करोड़ों आए बाकी रहा न कोई मिट्टी में सब समाए इसी बात को न भूलो सबका यही हशर है दुनिया के मुसाफिर मंजिल तेरी कब्र है. So this nazam I prayed, started practicing my Urdu. Now comes the time of Darul. So this was 2006. I finished school, and now the adventures of Darul start. So now this is where it really, it really opened up. I started seeing other people play nazams, and Allah maaf kare, Allah forgive me. That competitive nature develops within you. Where inside, and you develop. Oh, if he can pray that, let me try. And it's good. Tanafus fil khair, to be competitive in a good thing is good, but you don't let that. How do you say? You don't let it consume you to such an effect that you lose what the real intention is. You do it for the sake of Allah, and you do it for the sake of Rasulullah. So you do it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, that ability to pray, and you do it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? And in here we have to keep ourselves in check. Why? Because naturally we develop these attitudes. It happens. It's a normal thing. Right? So anyway, it came that, this person started playing this nazam, this nazam. So, I started practicing all sorts. I started, there was a kitchen in the Darul, there's a kitchen in Darul, and I used to scream my head off there, practicing different roles, different nazams. Sometimes I used to try to practice even Qiraat. Sheikh Basit, I've still not got it right, but it was like something like Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Things like that, like Hindawi. Hindawi, I'd try anything, I'd try La ilaha illallah Allahu Akbar Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Something like that. Anything. I don't mind now. I just whatever that comes out. I used to practice all sorts. Why? Because I was passionate. I gave it time. And then one day, we had a program in Kidderminster, and Junaid Jamshed was there. And I was very lucky, very, very lucky to have the opportunity to pray whilst he was there. So I prayed a nazam called Teri har ada hai pyari, Teri shaan khaak sari, Tere zulf ambari par ho nisar beqarari, Tere dar pe khaak robi se mili hame masarrat, Tere har zaman zameen mein hai gulab jaisi nikahat, Tere jalwe hasi se है खुमार सब बेतारी, तेरी हर अदा है प्यारी, तेरी हर अदा है प्यारी. So that was one. Now to honor, our marhum Junaid Jamshed. So I've got one nazam that I'll pray, that he used to pray. We've got everyone familiar with Meeta Meeta Pyara Pyara Mere Muhammad ka naam. It's quite a renowned one that he prays. Inshallah, put it into YouTube and you'll find it's really nice. Meeta Meeta Pyara Pyara Mere Muhammad ka naam. मीठा मीठा प्यारा प्यारा मेरे मुहम्मद का नाम, हम सब भेजे उन पे हजारों लाखों दुरूद व सलाम. मीठा मीठा प्यारा प्यारा मेरे मुहम्मद का नाम. खैरुल बशर व खैरुल वरा हम सब के रहनुमा, खैरुल बशर व खैरुल वरा हम सब के रहनुमा. उस वाउनी की राह अमल है, जिंदगी है चिराग. हम सब भेजे उन पे हजारों लाखों दुरूद व सलाम. मीठा मीठा प्यारा प्यारा मेरे मुहम्मद का नाम. So this was one of his naats that he used to pray. One thing that you got to see, that when you're praying nasheeds and naats, what's nasheeds? Nasheeds is poetry, right? Naats is the praise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We had one that he's go sallallahu, and then everyone used to go alaihi wasallam. Yeah, which was quite a long time ago anyway. But yes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say it again, sallallahu. That's the praise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then you got hamd, which is the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Hamd is the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're praising Allah. And these are very good to have these beautiful poetry, to praise our Prophet, to praise our Allah is amazing to have. It's good. Good alternative. So after these nasheeds, they came followed loads of others. After that, I started practicing, and then I had a time when then what happened now, my father, this is the story of my father. So we went to Bradford. Now, before that, we had a Qari called, he's passed away as well. We had a Qari called Qari Hanif Rampuri. I don't know if anybody's aware of him. He's quite well known. Qari Hanif Rampuri. Now, I was very lucky to pray with Will whilst he was there in Zakariya Masjid. He had a program, and I prayed a nazam there for forgot what I prayed now. I can't exactly remember because this wasn't entirely prepared for it. But a nazam that he used to pray, I'm going to ask everybody to join in, inshallah. This is the praise of Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Kareem, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Kareem, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Kareem. Arfala naam tera, arfala naam tera, Mawla arfala naam tera. Kun fayakun hai kaam tera, kun fayakun hai kaam tera. Zikr hai subh ho sham tera, zikr hai subh ho sham tera. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. So this is one of the nasheeds that Hani from himself. Marhum used to recite, used to pray, he was quite known for that one. Then, after loads of different nasheeds, and I became Farid in 2012 from Darul and I started working in charity. My dad was like, you either work or you don't live here. don't report it. I'm joking. No, but I love it. But what the main thing was that's what our time was about. You better start working. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought I wanted to chill, but that wasn't the wrong way. You see, what you learn from that is you become complacent. You wanna go for the easy ride. But there's nothing, I'm telling you, I can guarantee you something. If you work hard and you give dedication and effort, so you've got I spoke about passion, then you've got effort. If you give an effort, if you make something, out of yourself and you try hard, then the fruits will be beautiful. They'll be amazing. But you work hard for it. You got to work hard. Yeah, it doesn't come easy. Nothing comes with just sitting there unless you're very, 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 very blessed and lucky, mashallah. But it doesn't come like that. You got to give and you got to show Allah that you want it. That Allah, this is something that I really want. I want to do this for your sake. I want to make you happy. And I want to be able to get into this. Please, Ya Allah, help me. And make an effort. Then slowly things will work out. So what happened for me was, when I was younger, I wanted to become a social worker and either a lawyer. I mean, thank God that didn't happen. But, alhamdulillah, a social worker or some sort like that. So what happened to me was, I went into Darul Uloom. When I became Farid from Darul Uloom, I started working. So my experiences grew from there because I was working in the charity field. And it's quite a vast field. The charity field is not just fundraising. There's a lot of public engagement. There's a lot of, Moulana will know, there's a lot of other work that needs, in there. There's project management, there's traveling, all sorts. And I'm very, very blessed to have attained that. But what I realized is that it's good to have those skills and it's important to have those experiences. It's important, But you also need something that is academically strengthening too, in order for you to progress even further. And I think, a lot of us, we need to kind of find a balance, and I think that's what was very interesting for me. So I went into Alim class, I learned about, whatever I needed to learn about the kitabs and hadith, etc. And then I went into working, but alhamdulillah I had some sort of foundation. Right? And I'll tell you why. I was lucky enough to have that foundation. Then I thought, this charity game is enough now. I need to do something now, with my life, and I applied for a job, and alhamdulillah I got a job in the NHS as a healthcare assistant first, in mental health. So I was working for mental health as a healthcare assistant, right? And then things will move on from there. But anyway, let's get into the nasheed part. I will carry on, but I digress. So I prayed a nazam of Karihani Frampuri. Then different nasheeds came, you know, that Hafiz Abu Bakr, I was blessed to pray with him. One nazam that I prayed whilst he was there was, everybody aware of Nabi Dusre, Peshawar ban ke aaye, Muhammad Magar Mustafa ban ke aaye. Some people know, okay. Nabi Dusre, Peshawar ban ke aaye, Muhammad Magar Mustafa ban ke aaye, Muhammad Magar Mustafa ban ke aaye. Nabi दूसरे पेशवा बन के आए, मोहम्मद मगर मुस्तफा बन के आए, मोहम्मद मगर मुस्तफा बन के आए। वो मक्का की साख्ती, वो ताइफ का मंजर, वो मक्का की साख्ती, वो ताइफ का मंजर, मुहम्मद खुदा की रबा बन के आए, मुहम्मद मगर मुस्तफा बन के आए, मुहम्मद मगर मुस्तफा बन के आए। Now another one. A lot of people will be familiar with this one, inshallah, so join in. حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا الله तेरे सदके में आका सारे जहां को दीन मिला, बेदीनों ने कलमा पढ़ा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। हस्बी give me a break. मा फी क़ल्बी ग़ैरुल्लाह नूर मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। सिमत नबी को जहल गया, आका से उसने ये कहा, गर हो नबी बतलाओ जरा, मेरी मुट्ठी में है क्या। सिमत नबी को जहल गया, आका से उसने ये कहा, गर हो नबी बतलाओ जरा, मेरी मुट्ठी में है क्या। आका का फरमान हुआ और बदले रहमान हुआ, मुट्ठी से पत्थर बोला ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। हस्बी रब्बी जल्लल्लाह मा फी क़ल्बी ग़ैरुल्लाह नूर मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। Everybody familiar with Qari Ahsan Mohsin? वो मेरा नबी, वो मेरा नबी, मेरा नबी, मेरा नबी है। Okay, so you're going to join me inshallah. Okay, it's very easy. Say वो मेरा नबी, वो मेरा नबी. Not hard, is it? Right? Yeah? So we'll pray that. Is that good? Alright. वो जिसके लिए महफिल कौनैन सजी है, फिरदौस बनी जिसके वसीले से बनी है वो हाशिम मक्की वो हाशिम मक्की मदनी उल अरबी है वो मेरा नबी मेरा नबी मेरा नबी है वो मेरा नबी मेरा नबी मेरा नबी है वो मेरा नबी है अहमद है मुहम्मद है वही खत्म रसूल है अखदूम मुरब्बी है वही वाली कुल है उस पर ही नजर सारे जमाने की पड़ी है वो मेरा नबी मेरा नबी मेरा नबी है वो मेरा नबी मेरा नबी मेरा नबी है वो मेरा नबी है. So that's another snippet. So as I was saying that I became Farid, I started working for charity, so I travelled a lot. I did a lot of programs, project management, I was very lucky. And then after that, I thought that's it now, I need to pack it in. So it was because I think I got burnt out too. I was 23 and it was a lot.
Burnt out at 23?
Yeah, I was bothered. I didn't get to, I wanted to chill, but I got a job, and I worked hard. But I thought, I'm getting burnt out here, so then I have to look for something else. Because, I couldn't find any balance from there. Then what happened was, once I found a job there, as a mental healthcare assistant first, it was a new world. Completely new world. The interview. I prepared for it, so you got to prepare. You have to prepare. And I went up to Wikipedia, started reading about mental health, I went this NHS side, that side. But then there has other, requirements. So like, for example, experiences that you've had in your life. Your qualifications. At the time, all I had was my Darul Uloom degree, which is not recognized in the secular kind of, that kind of avenue or that kind of environment or whatever it is you want to call it. And then you've got the GCSEs, maths and English. I was okay at that. So anyway, we got those. This is what you lot are studying. You better get them. You're really good. It's really important to study hard and get your GCSEs, because even now I'm 31 and I went for the university. I'm getting, alhamdulillah, I'm going into uni again, but it's required. Your certificates, for your GCSEs and the grades are really important for the courses that you're going to do. And so keep them certificates safe. Even when you get older, cherish those certificates. Keep them safe, because then you're going to have to cough up like someone, 70 quid and 100 quid to get the replacement certificates, especially when you're moving home. It's quite, troublesome. So what I mean is, what's important is keep them safe. And revise for them. Not like, just chill and no, I can't do it. No, you can do it, inshallah. Yeah, you've got your studs around you, you've got tuition. If you need more help, you can tell your parents, I am struggling, I wanna. And if you are struggling, it's not a bad thing. Yeah? Because you learn from that. And on top of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's not created us so that we're gonna stay low all the time. No. You lose a bit of confidence. Yeah, I understand, I can't do it. No, it doesn't matter. Work hard. Don't give up on it. And inshallah, the support of Allah, the people around you will. I never saw myself praying nazams and everything. I started off the same way. I can't do it. I can't. Now, even now, I still think I can't speak and stuff, and I'm making a fool out of myself. But I do it. Why? Because alhamdulillah, if I give up, then I won't I won't improve. I want to improve for the sake of my Allah. I want to get better. I want to pray for the sake of Allah. I want to be able to, engage with more people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why not? If I get the opportunity, why not? Yeah? So why don't we do the same? Even the school, maths, English is very important. So for example, for me, yes, I needed science and I needed maths and English to get into the course that I had to get into. And, the certificates came into use. And I learnt about mental health. What is mental health? You know, what is it to talk to someone, to ask them how they are? What is it that leads a person to depression? What is it that leads a person to becoming unwell? What are the signs that we have to look out for? What is it that people laugh at other people when they're not well? Do we know about that? Do we know that they're unwell? When a person is acting out of the ordinary, do we recognize it? Are we able to recognize it? These are things and skills that you pick up as you go on. But it's very important that our composure and our mannerisms and our akhlaq and adab, our full, kind of interaction with that person is with Muhammad. And who was the proof of that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't know me. He didn't know you. He still prayed. He still made dua for the ummah. He still showed Muhammad to on the day of judgment, he's going to show Muhammad and love to everyone. And this is what we have to work on. Our belief is what we've got. And this is where I'm now going to get to. That I mentioned that I became, I graduated from Darul Uloom and got whatever I could get. Started working, had some foundation, now I started going into university. Completely different environment. When I used to work in charity, no disrespect, but I worked with a lot of our Asian community, the Muslims, our Muslim community. Right? There was no engagement with any other sort of community at all out there. So the integration for me was minimal. It was only at a shop sometimes in Asda or Tesco. You're at the alright, yeah, okay. Alright, you put the price up on the country, oh yeah, alright. That's it, that was it. It was minor. Yeah, it wasn't anything extensive. The knowledge and the skills were not, out there yet. But then once I started going into university, what happens is your trajectory changes. And you see another world. What happens is your how can I explain it? It's another world. So you start to lose recognition of yourself. You start to lose the recognition of yourself. You start to lose these things that are part of your, these valuable things that are part of your identity. Small thing, mashallah, first will start. You won't start saying, mashallah, oh yeah, hopefully I can do it. No, yes, I will be able to. You start forgetting, mashallah, subhanallah, inshallah. These values start going. Then your foundation starts to raise. Oh, we've got a little party going on inside. Would you like to spot? It's almost Maghrib time. Usually you'd think, but oh yeah, you know what, 10-15 minutes won't bother me. Let's just join them for a bit. It's good for me to have that interaction. You block yourself inside and you justify something else, and then you leave out what's really important, which is your namaz and your salah and this and that and the other. That's what start happening. One has agreed. Trust me, this is what happens when you come. These are the kind of things that you go through. What I'm trying to say is that it's important for us to create that balance so that we maintain the identity of our Iman and our Deen and our Islam. I'm not saying go out there and go, I am Muslim. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you to go out there acting all funky. No. Yeah? Stay within the law of this country. Yeah? Stay within the hukum, the teachings of our ustad. You know our ustad, these are all reliable. Sometimes you get some unreliable people that can catch you. Right? And you've got to be careful about that. So when you hear someone else, always go to your reliable ustad first and say, Ustad, I heard this person. And your teacher will look into it and look into what's been said, and then they'll tell you, okay, you can listen to his prayer. Or this happens. We're young, there's so much material out there in social media. Oh, so much. Loads of different things. One minute you're looking at Quran, and the next minute you're looking at some guy doing a dab. It's unbelievable. But, it's important for us to engage our minds, with the values that we've got. It's important that we remember that we're Allah's creation. Alright. We're Allah's creation. Everything we do, we're accounted for. We're accountable for. Yeah, we've got to remember that there is a qiyamah. We're going to get the books in our right hand. We want to get our books in our right hand. We want to pray our namazes on time. You know, all these things we got to keep in check. Yeah? And at the same time, create a career for yourselves as well. And then, like that, you're an example to other people around you. You can help those people around you. But if you keep Allah in your heart, then people will approach you themselves. If you keep the love of Allah and you keep the values in your heart, then people will approach you and they'll ask for help, and you'll be able to create more sawab and more reward for yourself. So, anyway, as time went on, I work for mental health now, and I worked for a year and a half, and then I got into an apprenticeship. So this is another thing. A lot of our youth now, alhamdulillah, are getting into apprenticeships. So if you do want to, work hard on your GCSEs and your A-levels, or GCSEs, and then if you feel that college is not the right step for yourselves, then, okay, look for an avenue in apprenticeship. See what you think you're good at. For example, social work, or you think caring, or whatever you can put yourself into, engineering in this, or mechanics in this, or whatever, and then extend yourselves into that kind of course and let it create a stepping stone for other future endeavors. Anyway, so you see, I've been playing nasheeds and nats for a long time, but I've never really given attention to, making a YouTube page or Instagram page. Whoever puts on stuff, they put it on, not me. Other people put it on here and there, YouTube and Instagram and all that. I've not got anything like that. A lot of people advise for me to have all of that, but I'm not about that. Just when I do, then give us a follow, but not right now. Stop with that. I'm joking. But anyway, I have written my own nasheeds, surprisingly, as the time went on. And I do hope, inshallah, one day Allah gives me that tawfiq and gives me that ability and gives me the opportunity to create my own album. And I've been working on it for a while, but it's just, when the chance comes, it comes. So I've written one. I've written loads, but there's one that I've played now. So it's called Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How fortunate is Medina that you lie within. I wish I was a grain of sand just to gain blessing. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Imam al-Mursaleen, Ya Habib Allah. Ya Imam al-Mursaleen, Ya Habib Allah. Ya Habib Allah. How I wish I was a cloud listening in the sky at the time when you prayed for us in your humble cry. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Imam al-Mursaleen, Ya Habib Allah. Ya Imam al-Mursaleen, Ya Shafi Allah. Ya Shafi Allah. If I was a tree, whenever you lean, I could at least feel the power of your mercy. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. يا إمام المرسلين يا حبيب الله يا إمام المرسلين يا حبيب الله يا شفيع الله يا شفيع الله الله يا حبيب الله الله يا حبيب الله. So, this is my little sort of adventure that I've had. There's loads more, but I've spoken about mixed things, but more in the concentration of kind of retaining the value of our identity, yeah, and trying to create a balance in our lives as we progress further. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he advised in many hadiths to work hard. Now, the person, when he sweats and he earns, you know, it's important, it's a halal rozi, there's barakat in it, there's blessings in that. You know, like, there's blessings in these amal, in these actions. So a person should work and he should give concentration in these avenues. But at the same time, al-kayyisu man dana nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-maut, that person, an intelligent one, is he who puts a little bit of a, not a little bit, but he puts a stamp on his nafs, on his desires. وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ, and he works for what's to come. Yeah? So we have to keep that in focus. And that will be testing for us as we grow up, because there's going to be a lot of things as we grow up, a lot of challenges that we're going to face. And those challenges are going to be more to do with sins, yeah, and more to do with experiences with our family members, our parents as well, you know, and experiences with work and life, and it's all going to come. So, for example, and there's one thing I always say, our studies to tell us that there's three types of sabr. Sabr al-ma'siyah, that there's patience against sinning. So, for example, there's loads, you know, for example, in the story of, I don't want to mention that one actually, but for example, you've got a certain sin that you feel, you know, you can attend, but then inside your heart you get this feeling that no, I don't want to do this. And what do? You prevent yourself. This is sabr anil ma'siyah. This is patience against the sin. Then you've got sabr al ta'ah, that you've got patience on the a'mal that need to be done. So, for example, salah. My time comes, whatever it is, I close it and I come pray my namaz. My salah is important, my a'mal is important. So, for example, even those a'mal that you have that are small and short, you know, and you keep up with them, with istiqamah, Allah will give you blessing and istiqamah in them. Yeah, so these are good things to do. So, for example, when you wake up in the morning and you pray your yasin, it's small. You know, you think, 5 minutes, I've prayed my yasin. But this, big. It's big in the eyes. It's the heart of the Quran. It cleanses you. You cleanse yourself. You focus yourself. Yeah, when you're praying. Because you've got the spiritual element within us. The direction is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it keeps us grounded. And that's sabr al-ta'ah. Then you have sabr al-masiba. So then you have patience against musibat is a challenge. So something that's happening in your life and you maintain patience, but it doesn't just mean that patience, you know, you keep it bottled in. I'm not talking about, it's important to talk about what you're going through. Whatever situation, you know, we're in an open school, whatever the situation is, right? It might be abuse, it might be bullying, it might be anything. These are sensitive topics, right? But it's important that something that you're feeling, you speak about. You speak about it, right? You talk about it, you engage, and you kind of understand what's going on. That can help you. Why? Because sometimes the bottle can burst open, and things can happen. So we have to be very, very understanding about what's going on. And if it's a problem, and if you got an issue within yourself, first person you turn to is it's in the Quran. that when the servant is going to ask about me, I'm there. When they call me, I'm there. Why are you worried? I'm here. Allah says, I'm here. Ask from me, I'll give you. Allah's khazana, Allah's treasures is massive. It's nothing less for Allah to give you everything. He give you everything, you'll still have everything, Allah. Yeah? So ask from Allah. And when we do that, when we have a problem, we cry to Allah. We turn to Allah and we pray to Allah. You see that dua silah mu'min, that dua, to supplicate to Allah is a weapon. Is a sort of tool, useful tool for a mu'min. It can break through the barriers that you're feeling within yourself, and it can help you transcend your feelings to a positive avenue in yourself. And this is what we want to create. This is what you want. And when you have that strength and you build that strength within yourself from a musibah, there was one story a long time ago. There was a young girl. She come out the car. She turned around and she dropped the apple. She dropped the apple. She went and the car backed into her too, hit her. And in this whole situation, the mum was looking at this from the house. So she goes to the father and she goes, your daughter's been hit. She's been hit by the car. The father, he goes, you go tend to her. What does he do? He goes to the musalla. This is a true story. This is in a problem. What does he do? He goes to the musalla. He prays salah. And he says, Ya Allah, whatever you do is from you. He had strength. The woman came, the mom came, she's passed away. The girl's passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But he didn't, it didn't faze him. He had Allah. Yeah, he had salah. So I'm not saying that, this comes with time though. You have to practice patience in your life. It'll come. Why do I always have to eat bug? Why have I always got lentils, man? Yeah? Lentils. Yeah, boy. Sabar kar, bhai. There's people around in the world that don't have anything. They do anything for the lentils. One thing I saw in charity was we gave a bag, we had a bag of food. And we went to this person, we said, here, have this. He said, they gave it back, and I go, huh? You go, give it to my neighbor. Give it to my neighbor, I've got enough for this one. He doesn't have anything. Wow. Look at the patience in that one. And look at the love and the raham and the consideration he's showing for somebody else. And how like this person hardly has a house. You can't call the roof a roof, it's like a sheet of metal. But he's still, without having anything, Allah give us that patience. I want that. I wish, remember, if you create in your mind that, it's good to be competitive, but better that, Ya Allah, why, I need to become like this. I want to do this. Not I wish I could. No, motivate yourselves. Now, inshallah, I'm going to try. I'm going to practice. And then, inshallah, move forward. So I've prayed what I had to pray, and I've spoken whatever I could. Whatever's in my head, I'm sorry, I'm not the most, out there speaker. But I gave you what I could and whatever's in there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq. It was enough time, right? I'm sorry for taking so much of your time as well. I can see some kids after eating their lunches. But it is hard. We used to have that hardcore chawal in that room. And then you have to sit in class.